What's happening, world? Welcome to the Green Room, where the subject for today is going to be corruption. So, corruption is defined as dishonest or fraudulent conduct by those in power, typically involving bribery. Now, my question for everybody is, do you think that our country is corrupt, or your home country is corrupt? And if so, in what ways do you think would be a prime method to fix it? How do you all feel about that? Do you think that we live in a corrupt country?
Yeah, we do.
And by that, I mean, the simple definition, like payoffs and whatnot.
Yeah, everything
Of
about
course.
this country's corrupt.
Look at my topic today, Cassie and Diddy. He paid that bitch off like nobody. Ooh, I didn't mean to call her a bitch, but y'all get what I'm saying. I'm gay,
Right.
so I can say bitch and not mean it in the context that y'all think it's mean. But and then just look at the dealings that have been under scrutiny with all the presidents in the last 8-10 years.
Right.
Like it's just been chaos. Even
I
with
mean, if you boil it down to it in a pot, I mean, this is just a very corrupt world.
yes, the entire world.
Yeah.
There's people that aren't corrupt in the world,
Yeah,
but they
the
can be
anomalies.
corrupted. But they get corrupted, and
Oh
then
yes,
they turn into corrupted. Period.
Okay. Well, I guess the big question then is, like I asked, what exactly do you believe would be a formidable method of combating
let me
corruption?
go because I didn't get to speak on the last part.
Yeah.
But and I had something for that. But anyway, I would not sell me a dream. I would not lie to me because and every America think about this. Growing up, they made you believe about checks and balances. Somebody needs to check your work. Somebody needs to check that person's work, because you can't trust that person in front of you to get it right. Not saying that it would be intentional, but just not to get it right.
Right.
So they've been teaching that to us all our lives. Checks and balances. Even just having to do your checkbook. Checks and balances, checks and balances. Well,
Yeah.
now we see that was a lie. That was a lie because we look at this administration, and and I'm not, like I said, you can go back. That's why they have fact check when it comes to politics. When it comes to politics, because you know that everything that comes out of their mouth is not going to be the truth.
So it's like we are taught checks and balances, but then like checks and balances as far as like double check, make sure that it's accurate.
Right,
Because,
triple check.
yeah, don't trust
And then
anybody.
you gotta go get
but
somebody
then
else
you
to
got
sign
these
off on it.
You got all these people saying trust me, trust me, trust me, but we not able to check you until you not
Right. Like I said, and then what I was saying, like you have to have somebody sign off on everybody's work, but the person that signs off on it still gotta check and gotta have a witness
Yeah.
to show that you actually checked it, because you gotta sign off on it, right?
Yeah.
That's what they sold us.
understand.
But now you see that that's not what it is, because if we would have been able to see that there's somebody out there that don't care about checks and balances, that
Yeah.
don't care about the Constitution, that don't care about, buying up property as the president, which is illegal, or earning
Yeah.
an income
Gotcha.
like crypto while being the president.
But,
We
okay.
could have stopped that. We could have stopped that because we could have created stronger
But not just
laws,
the presidency,
stronger,
though.
stronger laws, a stronger constitution, stronger bill of rights, stronger everything to show that when you mess with the Constitution, you're gonna suffer, and it's not gonna take a vote to get you up out of here.
Yeah.
This kind of a no tolerance clause, because we see something like this coming.
Yeah.
And so that is my point on how do we stop it? Because, well, don't lie to us, because now we see that the Constitution is lame, and the federal judges, and I don't mean lame, but I'm just saying they don't have the power that they had us believe that they have, because he's still able to get away with that.
Gotcha. Now, on a side note, or side question, if the government was just honest, and instead of like having pretense to do certain stuff, and they're like, you know what, we want this oil. This is what we're gonna go do.
Right.
You know, this is what we're doing. Like, do you think the people would just be like, okay,
No.
it's what we're doing now?
Because the people have their own interests. That's why they have to lie, because it's a voting system, so that they can't speak on their own interests because they gotta get those votes. So it's voter interest. It's always been.
Yeah,
voter
I think
interest.
it's more or less on. It's kind of on the same subject as taxation with representation. You know what I'm saying? Like all the tariffs and stuff like that. Like that's taxation without representation. We didn't ask for the tariffs. You wanted the tariffs.
Yeah,
Right.
but in the context they're looking at it, they're probably like, well, technically your state has a representative and the people collectively voted them in, so you do have representation.
I didn't vote that in.
I know.
Right.
I feel like shit.
You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. And checks and balances is supposed to stop him from being able to just say, you know what, I'm gonna do this. And it's gonna hurt America. That's what Congress has been saying. You can't just go out there freestyling and mess up everybody's money. You can't do that. And it didn't work. It didn't work. It did not work.
I think we should vote
So
more.
we should have been able to clip this damn
We should
feet
put
off.
more. You mean like referendums type deals?
Yeah, like whatever you think like we should be doing, we need to be voting on that. Like not
So,
like every, not like every
Not
little thing.
not everything being a direct democracy,
Yeah.
but more or less being like passing more power on to the people to vote on
Something's
certain
got
things.
to give. Something's got to give because they just come out on TV just straight lying.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I mean, like,
And it'd be unconstitutional lies.
yeah, I mean, they keep saying they're going to make billionaires pay, but we're the ones paying.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're paying
Right.
more. Like, how does that work?
And then he freezes, like I say, he freezes the tariffs, and all them billionaires get rich, and he's in the White House with him. Said, "Oh, you made $900 million today, bravo!"
But therein
You know what
lies
I'm
the
saying? That's
question.
crazy. That's illegal. And then Martha, what's her name? The green chick,
Oh yeah, Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Marjorie Taylor.
I
Yeah, you
was
see
about
how
to be
much
like,
money
is
her
it Green
family
Day
made?
somewhere?
That's just illegal.
Now,
It's illegal.
so yeah,
But checks and balances don't mean nothing because the
Right.
Congress brought it up the next day, and nothing happened. They
Yeah,
questioned about the whole thing.
So therein lies the
Insider
question:
trading.
what do you all think the remedy for that is?
That was my remedy. What I said earlier is just
just-
don't lie to us from the beginning. That's why I said that's if we don't lie from the beginning, then we know that there's no checks and balances. So we would build a stronger constitution, stronger laws for that person that just think he can step in and disrupt the Constitution.
What do you think that would entail though? Like what?
I think equal playing ground.
I think
How so?
America would. I think.
Because like I mean, right now,
But
like,
that's the question. The corruptness. Excuse me, D-Lo, real quick. Because the issue is about how do we stop corruptness. So that's my point. Get them people out of there.
Right.
And that fights corruption. Because because we have stuff intact. The Constitution, federal court system, it's three: the legislative, judicial, and executive branch. But this guy don't care nothing about none of that. And we were told that the process works. And so we kill all that. And if they don't lie to us, then we all become honest and not have to worry about corrupt because we now know how to deal with the corrupt people.
I have a question. Is your topic referring to just the presidency?
No, it's talking. Well,
No, that was
it's
just my
well,
example.
It's mainly talking.
No, I was just asking because we were kind of like he went.
Well,
into
it's not
the
specifically
presidency
talking
too.
about
I didn't want
what's
to go
go-
off into another topic,
No.
and then I'd be the one out of place.
No, it's not specifically about like the current administration, even though I do feel like there's an overlap.
Right.
But generally, like no matter what party, like because this should be a nonpartisan issue completely.
Right,
You know, corruption can be a problem. So
Yeah, 'cause
what
that's
what are some solutions, like
Right.
and listeners too, what are some solutions do you think are realistic that everybody would be able to objectively commonly agree upon?
Vet those people harder.
That'll never happen. That will never happen. It's just
And why not?
It would just never happen because of the corrupt people. It just will never happen. It will just never happen. You have to stop the corruption before
I
can't
before
stop the
you have to
corruption
keep
unless
them
you know
behind the
they're
gate.
corrupt.
And
Right.
like
Yeah,
I
the
said,
only
way
because
to
the
know
only
that they're-
thing. So what?
No,
Okay, so
no,
what?
no. The only way to stop corruption is to know that they're corrupt. And the only way to know that they're corrupt is if you actually witness them being corrupt. So
Right.
once you witness them being corrupt, then you get them out of there. But you
Right, and
have
that's
to
my point.
vet them harder to even know if there's any capability of them being corrupt there. So that's why I said vet the people that are interested
Right.
in these positions harder, because then you'll get the real sense of who that person is. If you're vetting them just to vet them, you're going to ask them simple questions. But if you're vetting them for positions of power to where they're going to have influence and have like the means to like really do something, you want to vet them 10 times harder than
Right.
you
So
vet
you,
anybody.
so you
essentially.
think that there
So
should be
stronger. That's what
specific
I was saying.
bars
Stronger
to be upheld, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how does it get upheld? Because it's not being upheld. So that was my whole point.
Yeah, that's enforcement.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
You just have to enforce it.
Yeah.
Right, they're not
exactly.
right, and at this point, this we're not strong enough. Like I said, the federal judge drops a decision that everybody's supposed to follow,
What were you gonna
and
say?
our administration doesn't follow it. Now, like I said, my point was not about the administration. My original point was just be honest with us and don't have us believe that the system will work.
Yeah.
So that was my original point. I was just using our administration as an example because what I said was, if you had been honest with us, then we could have been working on stronger bills, stronger amending the Constitution to be stronger for those corrupt people. Because we would have known that they out there and the system does not work, and this is how I know. Because this X, Y, and Z. So if you keep it real with us in the beginning, instead of training us about these fake ass checks and balances and the Constitution and how they were able to find loopholes in the Constitution, just tell us, get prepared because shit can happen because this is what they don't see about the Constitution. Then we can prepare for that. We can prepare for those that just going to try to just be, that person. We can, so that, because your question is how can we stop it in the beginning? Know that they exist. Know that they exist.
It was really about like, what would you propose now?
Right.
Like, what could we do?
But what you said was how could you stop it in the beginning? Before you said about corrupt people. So what do we need to do to lessen that?
What can we do? Yeah, that's
I honestly, like I said, it just goes deeper within just not our country. It's the whole world is corrupt. So it's harder. It's hard to say what we could even do. I mean, I just like to everybody have a seat at the table.
well. I mean, I think I'm picking up a degree of cynicism here, people. And to that extent, I see why, and it's completely understandable. But I do feel that even though there are large swaths of the planet that are really fucking corrupt, it's not outside of the realm of possibility to address it substantially, because there are countries to where they will hold you to account. Can't think of which ones those are right now, but
Right, but the
That's
consequences,
what I would say. Like,
are
what
dire.
would you say that we could do?
okay. Well,
yeah.
all right. Well,
You just spoke on dire consequences from other
Broadly-
countries. We need that.
broadly, we need to look to some of the architecture of some other countries that have successfully done it,
Right.
and introduce reasonable things here. But in reality, I feel like the base of it is about money's corrupting power, because money is power, and you got the Venn diagram and all that shit. So addressing that, like, I mean, I talked to run it back. I talked about Citizens United before and about all that stuff, corporations being people, all that stuff. Well, yeah, the goal for that would be to just to overturn that. But you would have to have a very different lineup of the Supreme Court to make that realistic, because you could do something like do an executive order, be like, all right, I'm flipping this now. You go through the legal back and forth, and basically the Supreme Court would have to rehear it. You know, with this one, like, you'd already know the ruling that you'd get. It wouldn't be favorable to do that. But that's what I think. If it got to a point to where you had a favorable court, then you could get something like that to happen, because then there would be the re-examination of, are corporations people? And they would be like, no, they're not. Therefore, all that fucking money isn't speech, and you can't spend unlimited amounts of outside dark money on dump it into the political sphere and blah, blah, blah. But outside of that, I'm also like, I feel like there should probably be a moratorium on lobbying. Like, you shouldn't be able to give money to politicians at all.
Right. Just
outside of campaign donations, which will have a cap, of course. But like the fucking super PACs and all that shit, like I don't know about
lobbyists
all
are
that.
the ones that really need to be looked into, because they are the influencers. They are the ones that say, look, this is the bill that we want to get passed, because let's say we're lobbying for gun control, the ones that's keeping the AR-15s, and the lobbyists say we think we should have them. So the lobbyists that agree with that, they're the ones that's putting in the money, because this is where the corruptness comes in, because you're putting it in that senator's ear.
Yeah,
we're trying to get this passed to keep us be able to keep our AR-15s.
And granted,
if you make it happen, we're gonna dip into the presidential campaign. We're gonna put in all this money. So the lobbyists are the crook. They're the biggest influencers that makes it illegal.
Yeah, and AR-15s are the example. Same shit happens with big companies that want to pollute, or that type shit. So that's also why I'm like, probably would be a good idea to completely do away with you being able to give money to politicians at all.
Right.
Or who the fuck ever.
You see what like when Trump got in there?
At least you said put a cap on it. If there's no reason for you to be getting millions. You know what I mean?
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, put a cap on it. Because like right now, I think the individual contribution rate that you're allowed to give to a person's campaign, I believe it's somewhere around the $2,000 mark. So as an individual, you can give donate to a campaign over $2,000. These super PACs, like that's what I was talking about before.
Yeah, I'm talking about corporations and stuff.
Like, they should. Yeah,
have a cap for them. Like that you can.
Oh yeah,
$20,000 or something like that. Something.
But the lobbyists are like CEOs.
Well, they speak for the companies.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, they're not even really CEOs. They're just people that speak for the company.
It's been talked about. What do you all think about public funding of elections? Like, if that's how they were done.
Public what?
Public funding of elections. Basically, like, corporations and shit aren't allowed to give. Only the American populace, only the people are allowed to give money to campaigns, and then...
You know what? That would be catastrophic. That would be catastrophic, because the Democratic nominee would get no money, not with Trump in there. The public, if it's their last dollar, and they have a choice to go to the store and feed their child, whatever. If they crying for an ice cream cone and you got $1 in your pocket, you're going to give it to Trump, and you'll figure it out later. You'll go to the neighbor's house or something. They are giving that money to Trump.
I don't think it's that viable, because there's so many people in Congress to where you can't really do that. Now, if you're giving to the party and the party divvies out what candidate should get each thing, but if you're paying,
I think they kind of already do that though.
Right,
DNC does and shit.
But I mean, that's
how they get on the campaign trail.
Normal people, they would just they give to the party. You know what I mean?
No.
But like,
not me. I never give to the fucking
No,
party.
I don't. I'm just saying, if they were to donate to a campaign,
right, and that's what we're seeing. So we talking about like the presidential campaign. That's why I say the lobbyists. They're playing the long game.
Yeah, and
all of the intermediate stuff, they're like, okay, if you can get this bill passed, then I'm gonna get this money.
I get that. I'm just saying, if he's talking about like public funding for like a presidential,
so
it
basically,
doesn't matter.
I mean,
whatever it takes, they're going to give it.
No,
all
I'm just
to
saying, like,
would
you prefer that instead of having the super PACs? Is that what you're saying?
No.
Oh yeah.
Huh?
I was saying, like, basically, the
Oh,
only
right,
people,
right,
the
right,
only
right,
people
right,
who would
right,
be
right.
allowed to give
Right,
to
the
Yeah,
public,
so take away the
Right,
super
the
PACs.
general
Get,
public.
get them out of there.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah,
right.
yeah. So get rid of the lobbyists. Get rid of the super PACs and have the public fund campaigns. I don't know if that would be the best bet because, like you said, like most people would depending on your demographic of what you're running for.
Right.
It's some of us, like I said, like he said, some of us is choosing to donate to that or get my meal. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's an unfair advantage, especially when you're giving to somebody that probably could fund their own campaign themselves.
Right. Right.
No, that's where because that was the one thing I didn't like McConnell about because McConnell's really big on that. The people should give me money to run,
Right.
but you want to run. So you need to put in your own money for that.
Well, some people do.
It's the cost of business.
Yeah.
Like
Interesting.
I think you should, if you want to run, you want to make your own campaign,
Right.
put in the money for it.
How about you? What are you thinking?
I think that the person should be able to get donations from any of the American people that are eligible to vote. I don't think that anybody that is in political power should be able to vote. And I think that there should be a cap on how much each person is allowed to donate, depending on the amount of wage they make and their poverty level. Because then I think it'd be fair.
Okay.
Right.
I started it out.
Yeah, that's all he had to say on that one.
Yeah, I started that out. Yeah.
Word. See, sponsored by Cheez-It.
One side. They gonna give all the public gonna give all the money to one side, and the other half gonna be without. Then that's and that be.
And if that's how it happens, then that's how it happens.
You see.
Apparently, that's what's
you
happening
see.
now with our votes, but apparently
You
that's
see it.
even
You
corrupt.
see. You
So
see. You see.
there's no way to stop corruption. It's gonna happen. It's gonna
Exactly.
bleed through at some point, and
Exactly.
it's gonna take over and consume.
But
And then it'll get under control again for a little bit, and then it'll take over and
they
consume.
shouldn't have
Yeah,
sold
because as
us.
long as there's currency, there's always going to be corruption. As long
They
as there's
shouldn't have
money,
sold
there's
us a
always gonna be
dream on
corruption.
how strong the Constitution is, because it's being showed to not be as strong as it's supposed to. Everybody and their mommy, Ray Charles, Stevie Wonder, everybody, they can see that there's unconstitutional stuff going on.
And
They
as
should
long
have
as
never
people,
sold us a dream, because it's it's not
well,
working.
it's all about like I said, it's all about when money came involved. You know what I mean? Like it's like
More money, fuck the Constitution.
yeah, like it,
Yeah, but how do we balance the influence of money, right?
Don't lie to us.
it's hard to do that because you always got that one immoral person that's going to try to see, like, I want to see how much I can buy you for. You know what I
Right.
mean? I can give you millions. I can give you billions. Let's see how much your soul is worth. You're always going to have that one immoral person to see how much they can test that background. And how much they can
And
test
you
that
always
down.
gonna have me in the background, like, give me $1 million. And just $1 million.
Yeah, see,
you wanna start over, I'm not gonna
last week you was talking about 14 million. This week it's just $1 million. So he done came down a little bit.
Well, like I said, I sense the degree of cynicism. I was hoping for constructive responses, gentlemen, but I get you. I get
It's
you.
just
Constructive.
I'm not a political person. That's why I was kind of quiet. That's why I asked about the presidency. Like, I do my research when it needs to be done, but as far as like knowing the ins and outs of all of that, like me personally, I feel like it's so corrupt that my vote doesn't matter. I'm still gonna vote because I want to believe that it matters, but at the same time, you can just look at it and see that, okay, they gave us Obama just so we would shut the fuck up. And then after Obama left, we couldn't shut the fuck up because look who was running.
Yeah.
And then we got into that. So I think that it's just going to be a cycle of we're going to vote, but are our votes truly being heard? Because nothing's happening.
Nothing
All right.
matters. The
And
vote in the
so-
White House. Nothing
Yeah.
that matters.
Well, that's fair.
That's why I didn't really have a
Well,
constructive.
no, I feel like you did have a constructive because you told me what I wanted to know. You told me like what you thought would be a good idea,
Yeah.
to potentially address things.
Vet those motherfuckers. Look at their background. See how they living. You can read a motherfucker and tell if if they a little crooked or not.
Yeah.
So lean into that crookedness. Ask them about that crookedness. Like
Yeah, but
when you're talking
Right.
to their people, see what that's about. See if them mothers is crooked.
Right.
I mean, you got to look at everybody in their background because people are who they hang out with.
Right.
Not necessarily through and through, but at the same time, some of those traits adapt to the next person.
Yeah.
Well, that's what
Right.
they're supposed to do to begin with. They're supposed to put everything out on a spreadsheet,
Yeah.
like their taxes and their
and
background.
yeah,
everything like
and that
but
comes
they're-
down to like you were saying, and I think it like enforcement.
Yeah,
Like
because,
you can
but-
come up
because
with
there's a
you
way
can come
to
up with-
mask that.
Yeah.
Even if, okay, Javi, you say that. You say, okay, look at the people that he hung around with and all that extensive stuff. And yeah, okay. But then there's, like you said, it's about the money. They say, okay, we'll just clean up his image and this, that, and the third, and we
Yeah.
can get him on through there. And then they get him in there. They slide him in there, and then even it goes public after he gets in there. Okay, all of this back stuff, all this back stuff that they was
Yeah.
able to clean up, it comes to the light.
the skeletons.
But
in
he's
the
already
closet.
in there.
Yeah.
But now he's already in there.
Yeah,
Right.
it's kind of like
Well, wait a
companies.
minute, hold on.
Well, you had a little.
He's
thought,
already
you had a little
I'm
thought.
saying I'm getting to my point. He's already in there, so now it doesn't matter if he messes up because the system can protect him. That's why I say increase shit, increase the, like you say, enforce, increase, make it okay to be able to enforce it in a way that, but it doesn't have to be physical. That no, they shouldn't have to go to Congress and vote. Let's just you fucked up. You're out. They're out. We got the evidence. We don't have to take this to a vote. Have a law put in like that.
Yeah, but I guess that's the big thing. Who's gonna enforce it? Who's gonna do it? You,
Yes, yes.
the American people.
Because that's what it's going to take. That's what it's going to take. And if you refuse to walk up out of here, we got 30 motherfuckers that's going to carry you out. That's going to carry you out because we're not going to be sitting up there like, if I hit him first, then I can be sued. No, we're going to snatch your ass up and get you up out of here. And it's not going to go to trial because the law says that once we tell you get the fuck out,
Your ass is gone,
or
yeah.
you're gonna get bounced out on your ass. That's what I'm saying.
Heard. Well, you all had some very good points, and I appreciate the feedback. What do you think? World, America, anybody, everybody? Let us know in the comments. Thank you again for joining us in our delightful conversation in the green room. Have a nice day. I'm Omega Green. Take it easy.